Hey guys, and happy Wednesday. So, for today's DIY, it's probably one of my favorite DIYs. I found this wooden book, I guess, and this nativity scene. The book is from Goodwill, and it's just one of those box books. I don't know how you what you call them, but it looks like a book, but then you can put stuff inside of it. And the nativity scene is from Goodwill. Now, I know they sell these books at Michael's, so obviously you can go there and grab one from there. But I happened to find this one at Goodwill and it was like 75 cents after it was 1.99, and then there was like 75% off that day. So I'm just going to go ahead. I sanded it down and then I'm going to take this white acrylic paint and I'm just going to give it a few coats to, freshen it up and make it look a little bit better. And this acrylic paint is actually called Snow White or White Snow or something like that. And I got it at Michael's, but it's okay. It's not that great. It didn't really cover very well, but I didn't have any more of my Waverly, and I didn't feel like making any chalk paint. It's like 1:30 in the morning, so I didn't really feel like making any chalk paint. So I just went ahead and gave this, I think it was like 3 coats of this paint. And I did the inside. I didn't do like the actual inside of it, but I did the kind of like the outlining of it. And then I left the pages, the quote unquote pages, gold, the color that they were. Now this nativity scene, it I took it apart off camera because it was actually not that easy to take apart. So if you can find different nativity scene, or maybe just like print one out or use your Cricut, or anything, you can cut one out from foam board. I mean anything, whatever. I mean, this was just the one that I had and I thought it would fit, but I had to make some adjustments. As you see, I'm cutting the edges off because it doesn't fit in the book, and the manger part of it doesn't fit on there. So I'm just, making some adjustments, cutting some stuff off and making it work. So once I was done cutting the pieces off, I kind of just put them to the side because I had a couple other things that I had to work on. Now, the actual like people part of it, the part that I'm cutting right now, I wanted it to be like 3D. So I took these tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree and I just added 2 of them to the bottom. A little later, I'm going to end up adding more because it kept kind of falling back. So I just went ahead and put 2 more on the top. But right now, I just put the 2 on the bottom. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is try and figure out kind of where I wanted it to be placed. That way I know what else I'm going to add to it. And guys, you can use, like I said, whatever you have. I know that you can find window clings, stickers. Like I said, you can just print something out and glue it in there, or use foam board or cardboard if you wanted it to be more 3D. But this is what I had, so I decided to go ahead and use it. And so, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've had this book for quite some time, and this is just the perfect opportunity. And speaking of the opportunity, today's challenge is actually hosted by Theresa B DIY, and it is the What Christmas Means to Me challenge. Now, I know, the whole Santa Claus thing is fun, and I do love the idea of keeping kids innocent and kind of giving them something to look forward to as far as, Santa Claus and the elves and all that stuff. But I mean, when I think Christmas, I think of Jesus and his birth, and, you know, I always think of the manger. Whenever I think of Christmas, this is what I think of. I think of my nativity scene. I think of Three Kings Day, and that's always, what I think about. And so I wanted to put that kind of in a story here. And what better way to put it into a story than to put it in a book? So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and I will include Theresa's channel in the description box. So be sure to go check her out. She's a newer channel, so let's go support her. Let her know that I sent you. And I'll also include the playlist in the description box so that you can go check the playlist out. If you're coming over here from the playlist, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome. And I hope you stick around, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. Let me know you came over from the playlist. And if you're returning, thank you so, so much. You know, I appreciate you. So let's continue on with the DIY. So the next thing that I did, since my manger from the wood cutout did not work or didn't fit, I'm going to make my own little manger. And I just took these really big popsicle sticks that I got from Walmart, and I think they're like jumbo or huge. I don't know what they call them. I think they're jumbo. And I'm going to make the top of my manger, and I'm just going to take some of this grass just to kind of give it that earthy look. And I'm just going to glue that on there, and then I'm going to just try and cover up like the little edges and everything just to, like I said, make it a little bit more authentic. And once I am done gluing that grass on there, I am going to glue it to the top above the people. But right now, I'm going to kind of do this part first, and then we'll move on to that part a little bit later. And I mean, like I said, I was going to put like hay or straw, but the blocks that I have, I had already packed up with all of my fall stuff. So this is what I had on hand, or else I would have, like I said, I would have used like straw or hay. And I was going to use burlap, but it just didn't look right when I tried to kind of put it on there earlier. So I went with this moss sheet that I had, and I think it looks great. I think it turned out just how I wanted it to, so it works for me. And this is how I'm going to be using those, but we're not going to do that right now. Next thing that I'm going to do is, what am I going to do next? Let's see. I forgot. Oh, I'm trying to place everything, trying to see where everything is going to go. Sorry, guys. It's like I said, it's like 1 in the morning, and I'm trying to keep my thoughts together here. So I'm going to include a little strip of the moss sheet to the bottom, so, like the floor of it. And I'm going to do that on both sides. But before I do that, I am going to get the title, I guess, to my book taken care of, and I'm going to call my book A Child is Born. And I'm going to just use these letters that I got from Dollar Tree. And of course, again, you can use a Cricut and just kind of print something out, or you can print something with your printer and glue it on there. There's also other ways of like transferring things. I think my son got a hold of my letters. He was playing with my letters earlier, and I think he grabbed my S, so I had to go look for another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I guess, stain my letters, and I'm not going to use stain, of course, because, I never do. I'm going to use these furniture polish markers, or I don't know, I think that's what they're called. But I got them from Dollar Tree, and I've used them in quite a few other DIYs, so yeah, I mean, I use them all the time. If I don't use this, I use shoe polish, and I will use the, what's that stuff called? The Waverly Antique Wax on occasion. But I just prefer this because it dries really, really fast, and there's different colors. So if I don't want, just the regular brown color, then I can do, whatever I want. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my letters. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to, like, remember I was saying I'm going to put some tumbling tower blocks on the top, so I'm going to glue those onto the top of my people here, just so that the top part doesn't, like, fall in when I move it around or whatever, and it'll just be more sturdy. And then I'm going to hot glue, first I'm going to hot glue the grass onto the ground, quote unquote ground of the scene, and then I'm going to go ahead and clean out all that excess grass and kind of fill in whatever parts of the bottom needed some extra filling in there. Now, all this stuff obviously is optional. If you're just going to kind of make it look like a page of a book, then you can just glue everything to the back of the book there and, call it done. I just wanted to add a little bit more dimension, just kind of give it a little bit of something, and like I said, I've been wanting to do something like this with one of these books for a while, and this opportunity came up and it was perfect. I've actually used one of these books. I made a gift for my husband for our anniversary um last year, I believe, and I used one of the books from Michael's, and I think it was like, I don't know, $6 or $7. I don't remember. But like I said, I got this one at Goodwill and it was $1.99 and it was 75% off. So what's that, 75 cents or something like that? I don't know. So then I'm going to go ahead, glue all these pieces in here. And like I said, I'm going to take this one, just glue it to the back of the book page or the book cover. And then I'm going to just hot glue the other one together and attach them to make the top of the manger there. And as I go, I'm kind of fixing the moss and gluing the pieces back together because this stuff is real flimsy and they just, it's messy and falls out all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the other piece on there. This one, I thought I cut it long enough. I even cut it longer than I thought I needed it, and it still was just a little bit too short, but it worked out fine. So I just went ahead and glued it to the middle one, and then I took some hot glue and just put a strip along the edge right here just to make sure that it didn't fall because I couldn't attach it to the wall. There was like the tiniest gap in there. So I'm going to take this piece of moss and just kind of cover up that hot glue strip that I had to put in there. And as you go, you just kind of clean up the pieces. Like I said, this moss sheet is so messy. The pieces were just falling off and just getting all over the place, and they were really annoying. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the North Star and put it over the manger. And you'll notice later in my picture that this is not in the same place. That's because when I took the picture, it just looked really empty. It looked really empty to me on the left side, so I took it off from the right side and just moved it on over to the left. So now I'm trying to use the donkey and the cow, or I guess that's a cow, that were included in the wood cutout, but I could only fit the one piece, so I chose the donkey, and I'm gonna put it over on the left side, and I'm just gonna add some little rocks and a tree. At first I was gonna use this bush, but I just kind of decided to go with this tree. And I think the tree, it's a succulent from Dollar Tree, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not from Dollar Tree, it's from the Target dollar spot, but I can't remember where I got this one specifically. But it's just a succulent, on a stem, and to me it looked like a little tree, so I decided to go ahead and add it in here. Right now I'm just trying to squish it down so that it can fit, kind of lay a little bit flatter onto the back there. And once I was done doing, flattening it out, I just took a whole bunch of hot glue and put it on the back and stuck it onto the cover of the book. And it stuck fine, and I was able to close the book so everything fit perfectly, and it worked out really well. So then I had forgotten to put the little sheet of grass in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that after the fact. But it worked out because it just kind of looks like it's, wrapped around the tree, and there's grass kind of growing around the tree. So it works out fine. Then again, I'm going to just kind of touch up little pieces, clean up all the excess grass that falls all over the place, fix up any pieces that need to be glued down, and then I'm going to glue on the donkey and a few rocks just to make it more authentic again. And I was going to use another tumbling block to kind of sit it up a little bit further, but it already had like a small block on the back of it that it was attached to the cutout with, so I just left it on there, and that's the one I use. So now I'm just going to take a couple rocks, just kind of randomly place them um, on the grass or like on the ground of the diagram here. And that's all I did with the rocks. And like I said, I just added a couple. I didn't want to be too overwhelming or too heavy, so I just added a few. And I was looking for some like brown rocks or more earth tone rocks, but these were the only ones that I had, so I just made them work. And I think they turned out okay. Obviously, you could, you know, I guess paint them if you wanted to, but I think they came out, you know, it looked fine. So I went ahead and just finished that up. And then once I was done doing that, I went ahead and started working on the cover of the book. So what I'm going to do with the letters is I'm actually going to do the wood glue, hot glue combo because I don't want my letters to fall off. I kind of want it to be a little bit more permanent because I plan on, if I don't use this under my tree, because I haven't decided if I'm going to put my sleigh down there or if I'm going to put this or a regular nativity scene down there. I really haven't decided yet. But if it's going to go under my tree, then this is probably something that I'm going to want to use, you know, over and over again. So I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue and a couple dabs of the wood glue, so there's that instant long-term hold, just so that I can go ahead and not have to wait for it to dry, wait for that wood glue to dry. So I'm going to do that with all the letters and just try to line them up as good as I can. And then once I am done doing that, I mean, this is pretty much done. That's all I did with this. And guys, you can do this with anything and use anything on the inside. So I hope you like this. Be sure to check out Theresa's channel. Check out the playlist. And guys, that is it. I hope this inspires you to maybe do something similar. And until the next time, be blessed and be the reason someone smiles. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Um, I don't know how many videos I'm going to be posting from now till then, but thank you and be blessed. Be the reason someone smiles. Bye, guys.